I'm just going to tweet out the link one more time. Okay, so welcome to this M.A.D PD session about Explain Everything. My name is Rashawn Richards. I am one of the co-founders of Explain Everything, and I'm also a longtime middle school math teacher, and now I teach at higher education. I work with future educational technology leaders at Columbia University. Very excited to participate in M.A.D PD, and then I'm also excited for the folks who are able to join us live, either from the stream or actually participating. I'm going to be presenting directly from I'm presenting from an iPad. They'll Explain Everything's available on Chromebook and other devices. And what I was going to do was just do a quick rundown of the tools and possibilities, and then open it up for questions as far as ideas. And I'd like to learn more, especially for the folks who are here participating live, the types of things you're doing, and maybe we can brainstorm ideas for your classrooms or organization or work, whatever you're doing. And then if we've got time at the end, we can also show some cool tricks and any other Q&A. Sound okay?
Sounds good.
Cool. So Charlotte and Jacinta, since you're both here right now, can you tell me, just on a scale of 1 to 5, what your familiarity level is with Explain Everything?
I've been using Explain Everything with the students probably for about 3 years. This is the first year. We've used the classic version in the past, but this is the first year I've used the SV version with our students. So we're in a one-to-one environment with iPads.
Gotcha, thank you. And Charlotte?
Well, it's not quite the same. I'm using it only since 2 years, and we have 8 iPad for a whole school. That means 8 iPad to share with 15 class, and I've got them twice a week.
Gotcha. All right, but you're both more than, or 2 years plus, which is super helpful. I guess what I can start by saying is, just so you understand. Oops, I opened the help menu. What's been happening recently as far as Explain Everything on the iPad, because both of you are iPad users. So when we first started back in 2011, that's when the first version of Explain Everything came out. It was built on, I think it was iOS 3. It was built for the iPad first generation. And so over the years, as the app kind of developed, there were certain things that we wanted to be able to build in that were just kind of too challenging. So we basically had to rewrite the app from the bottom. And so in 2016, we released a separate version of the app that has the white icon. So, and then we called the original one with the blue icon Classic. Currently, and so we realize that makes things kind of confusing. But now, and then Jacinta, you mentioned that you are currently using the special version. So our current plan starting this summer is basically Classic is going to get a big update, and all of the features will be the same, but the UI will be kind of matching the new one, which is all of the white buttons. And then there would be the subscription version. And then for folks who bought the SV version, you'll just kind of get grandfathered in to the subscription version. So you'll hear from us when that happens. But if you've already got SV, you're totally fine. It'll just continue working. I'll show some of the newer features that exist in the subscription features that exist, or the new features versus Classic, as I kind of run down here. So just, at its most basic level, and this is for people who are not familiar with Explain Everything, it's a screencasting interactive whiteboard. that as soon as you hit the record button, everything you're doing on the stage is getting recorded along with your voice. So when I hit stop here, you'll see I just made an 11-second recording that captured all elements of what I was doing and drawing. And then that can be easily shared in a variety of ways, whether it's the video, a flat PDF, an image, or an editable project, meaning somebody else can take it and continue working with it. The whiteboard has a bunch of design tools, and I'm actually in a beta version, so you all are getting the first sneak preview of some stuff that's coming out very soon. So at its most basic level, anything that gets added to the stage is something we'll call an object that can be moved, rotated, and scaled. So as I add things, sorry, I draw a lot of smiley faces, those become independent objects that are each independent of one another, unless I group them, of course. There's a pen, and this is something new. The ability to have this kind of textured pencil, that's something that you'll be seeing soon. You're the first to see that. There's a highlighter, so it doesn't, so it's got some transparency built in. And when I draw on top of something else, so let's see, I'm going to draw this box, and then I'm going to draw this X through it. By default, things get grouped together, because if you imagine you were annotating a picture or a document or something, you'd want those annotations to maintain their relative position, but those things can be detached by what we call ungrouping, and I'll show that in a minute. We've got a paint bucket. This is not in Classic, so you can take a closed area and be able to fill it. This is something that's going to make a lot of people happy. So previously, when you were drawing, you could only erase what was in the active drawing. So watch when I try to erase up here, nothing's happening. So I'm only able to erase the drawing that was active. Something that's going to be coming soon is the ability to erase previously drawn things.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, it's so funny because like when the app was first built, there was this like logic decision of we can either have things that can maintain their independence, and once it's complete, like you'll notice even when I'll draw another X, you see that like completion box, like that now turned from an active drawing into an object. I can delete the whole thing. And previously we also used to suggest to people to like, you know, if you knew the background color, you could use like white to like white it out, but that's technically drawing another object on top. You see now there's like an invisible or a white object on top of the X, but now there's this thing called the eraser, which will it'll just work. And I think many people will be happy about that. So that's also coming soon. This is all again in the current version of the app. Shapes. I can draw a variety of shapes, and something you may not have known is that you can also do some shape recognition in the shape tool.
Yeah, cool.
It's good. You know, it does its best. So for simple geometric and some, you know, ellipses and stuff like that, it will do its very best to convert it, and then it becomes a shape that I can now continue to manipulate. So that's something also in the current version of the app, not in Classic. Options for shadows, text. I mean, you would expect that you can add text to, you know, this kind of program. And then the text box is also able to be moved, rotated, and scaled. So I want to keep getting back to this idea of like the object independence. Each of these is its own movable thing. And where Explain Everything starts to get really fun, if you aren't having fun already, are all the other object types that you can add. So whether it's a photograph, let me find, sorry, my kids. All right, this is a photograph of a floor. Even a photograph is something that can be added and moved around. And let me just show you like the annotation piece again, because I mentioned this. Like if I was trying to point out this part of the floor, I'd probably want those annotations to stick by default. But again, I can separate them. I can add video. So even a video object is something that behaves independently. And that too, I'm going to set this to loop. I'm just going to turn the volume down. So while this is playing, I could be talking about it and annotating. Oh, that was supposed to loop. There we go. Is it going to loop now? There we go. And so even that annotation is sticking to the video that's looping. I can insert all kinds of the standard files that you would expect or that you'd probably use in whatever setting you're in. So whether it's PDF, Office files, iWork files, those kinds of things. I'm just going to import this slide deck here. And if it's a multiple page document, you'll get asked about how you want to import it. Do you want everything to go to the current slide or staged across multiple slides, or how do you want the pages distributed and things like that? I'm going to choose just to add this and this to the current slide. And you'll see I just added 2 pages from that document right on here. Oh, look, and my video is still looping. Very cool. This is new in the current version, clip art, where there's an ever-growing library of images that explain everything team has created and added that,
Thank you.
that
Fantastic.
you can use. You're welcome. The dot, dot, dot menu right now, you know, as we get more things in a category, we'll start to separate them out, but definitely check out that menu, because even things like, you know, an iPad frame, which can be helpful when you're putting stuff together, that's in there.
That's good.
But here's something else that's cool. Say, for some reason, let me go back here. I'll zoom in here. I'm going to add one more part to complete this thing. All right, I'll add a drink. Okay, so say this trio of things plus, you know, this kind of chart were something that I need to use very frequently. I can actually choose all of these items. Right now, I kind of jump down to something called the inspector. And so with this clip art, there's an option to add it. So you can create new things and it becomes part of your own like personal library. Oh, I guess I didn't add it. Let me do it again. Add this clip art there. So now if you see in the top left, I can use this over and over again across multiple projects. Now, right now, this becomes like a flat image. So it didn't maintain the, see how it became one object instead of 4 objects? Eventually we'll get it so that you can break that apart, but still, like, you know, one thing, a cool suggestion we heard from a teacher was to be able to, you know, just take a photograph of a kid, add their name below it, and then add it as a clip art item. And then, you know, if you do it for all of your students, you'll have these like quick grab objects for all of your students if you were making groups or assigning things or telling a story or whatever that is. So there are a lot of interesting possibilities with the clip art option. The web browser has always been there, but we've added some new things where like there's some favorites showing. Just .com here. And this too is an independent object, and it's a fully functional browser. And I can even mark this up. And those annotations actually stick to the page within the browser. I could take a new video. There's me, but I will stop that. I can take a new photograph. I could record new audio, import existing music. If you're in the math and sciences, you might like the equation editor. Something else that's coming soon, especially for those educators who are into creating like templates, this option for placeholders. So you can actually create like more of a guided experience. So now imagine you wanted to create just a page for a student to be able to work with. Now all they would have to do is tap that, it'll bring up the camera, or tap here, they can start typing right away. So you could just introduce some scaffolding for the users. That's something else that's coming.
Oh, that's cool.
Also in the current version, it should be there now. If you if you double tap on the hand tool or long press it, there are these things called object guides, and that it'll just help you do some alignment. So if you're one of those people who really likes to have things perfectly aligned, you'll be able to do that now. And also something coming soon is the ability, if you're setting up templates, you can create, just typing in a fake link right now, you can create a tutorial so that it would show you how to use the template. So it's just something, again, to build in scaffolding for people who are creating templates for users. I just wanted to show that that's something that is coming soon. All right, let's have some more fun here. So we went through most of these things. Let me bring in another picture here. Okay. All right, so here's an interesting picture. These scissors, it's a cutout tool, or really it's like a copy tool. I can do a rectangular select, and it'll just pull a piece out of what I was looking at. I can also do a lasso, or a very precise one, which lets you be super close with what it is you're doing. So those are just forms of using the cutout, and it works on anything. Like I might have drawn something over here, and then drawn this, and drawn something over here. Now watch what happens when I close the drawing. Right now, that's all one big object, and that might not have been what I wanted. But say I just wanted kind of the blocky smiley face, I can just do a quick cut, and now it's an independent object.
Mm.
I could take, even a boring worksheet. All right, this is handwritten. But I could actually take this and pull out pieces of it so that, if there was some element from a scan or some other object, I can quickly take pieces of it. I can do the same thing with the browser. This should work. Yeah, so even like an element from a web page, I can do a quick grab and use it however is useful for me. So that's things you can do with the cutout tool. The pointer, all that does is lets you call out parts of the stage without leaving a mark. Now I'm doing kind of a double pointing thing because I also enabled a setting that lets you just see wherever I'm tapping. That's something also in Explain Everything. So the pointer would serve the purpose if I just wanted to call out, this part of the tree, I could use the pointer. The inspector, this is where you can organize layers. Let me draw some objects for you. Okay, 1. 2, oops. 2. And let me duplicate these. All right, so I've got 4 objects here. And explain everything organizes objects by layers. So the most recent thing is on top of everything. And the first thing added, in this case, it's probably this picture. Notice it's the bottom layer. It's behind everything else. But I can change the layer order. Like I can move this to the back or back to the front, or just send it incrementally backwards. Or I could put this right here. I'm going to bring this one incrementally forward until it's now the top layer. I can also now do some alignment stuff. So if, say, I'm a perfectionist, I can highlight all of these and say align top, and then it'll make those things aligned.
Fantastic.
What's cool is if I wanted to, like, watch this, I'm going to create like a bunch of copies of these. Edit. All right, so now I've got like all of these. I can highlight them all with the inspector, and watch this. I'm going to do align left and align top. Now it looks like there's only one of them, but I can like make a pile of them, which is kind of cool, and the alignment helps you do that very easily. Also in the inspector, the option to group things together or to ungroup them. So now these two are grouped together. Now I can ungroup them. I can duplicate. I've been doing that before. I can do copy and paste onto another slide. I could just deselect what I have highlighted. If I had drawn a character like this, I could do flip their direction up and around. I showed you the add as clip art, which is at the bottom here. I could set something as the background object, which means now, even if I drew this face on it, that's not going to get grouped to it because that person is set as a background element. So it's not something that it can get locked to. And then there's this rotation, which, you know, it can come in handy for certain types of animations where it'll just set something spinning for as long as it'll just keep spinning. There's an undo button, which will let you undo actions. I guess I can't undo spinning. Oh, I won't let me do the undo. There we go. Something funny there. Let's go back here. And let's talk about the zoom. So the canvas is actually infinite. So you can zoom as far in and out as you please. And there's two modes of the zoom tool in the current version. There's the one where if I hit record now, and I'm going to zoom around here, 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 and here, in my 5-second recording, it's kind of following all of that zooming I did. However, if I use this other mode, notice there's now this red frame. So this will let me zoom into a portion, zoom out to a portion, but the recording is always going to be at that original scale. Let's see. So in a few moments, actually now you'll see it when the black line comes up. You'll see the word hello appear tiny in the corner because the zoom was holding at the original scale. Now the arrow is going to appear from the right.
Okay.
So those are just the two zoom modes. One is where the viewer follows what you're zooming in the recording, and the other one is it's a fixed position for the viewer, but you as the producer of the content can like zoom into areas very specifically, and it's just something that's possible to do.
Fantastic.
So before I kind of jump down towards the bottom side, any questions or comments or thoughts about some of the design tools that I've shared so far?
With the students, we use the add from Google Drive a lot, and I really like now how with the newer version, you can add multiple objects at once and add them all together rather than having to go back all the time.
Yep. So even just, yeah, when you're doing like a select from source, I don't have enough pictures here, but here, I'll choose two things here. I'll choose a picture and a video. And what Jacinta was just mentioning is you can pick multiple things from a folder, and then I'll add it to the current slide. And now these three things all got added at once. So it just takes out that repetitive task behavior, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Yep. Thanks for letting me show that. So do either of you have your iPads in front of you?
Yes, I've got it beside me.
Okay, and do you have, and you said you have the special version, so you've got the one with the white interface, correct?
Yes, that's right.
And then do you have access to the internet now? I'm assuming yes, if you're on a Google Hangout.
Yeah.
So let's try this because we're in 3 time zones here. I'm gonna do one of the new things that's part of the new version of the app, which is the real-time collaboration. So I'm gonna call this M.A.D PD, and we'll see if we can all whiteboard together here. So I'm gonna hit start. And the place that you'll enter this code, I'll just paste it here. Those are 9s. I guess that's hard to read. You can either put it in the collaboration menu, there's a join button, or on just the home screen, there's a search bar. And try to enter this, and let's see if you're able to join from Australia. Let me change the font of this so it's easier. And anybody else who's watching, you also can try to join us here because it should all work.
Oh, it just kicked me out. I tried. Hang on. I'll do it from the mainframe.
Okay. Though I just realized I'm using a beta version, so it might kick you out. But we'll try one more time. But if we're not on the same version, it might give you an error. I just thought about that now.
It's trying to join.
Yeah, well, let's see if it works. If not, I'll quickly do a
yeah, it's telling me can't connect to the project because in your version of explain everything mine's required.
Okay, so watch this. I'm gonna do a quick bit of updating here. I'm gonna go to the App Store. I'm gonna go down to the store version. This will only take a minute. So Jacinta or Charlotte, can you tell me like about the age group that you work with?
I have grade 3s, which in Australia, they're the 9-year-olds.
Oh, okay, 9-year-olds, super.
And that's the first year that they have one-to-one devices. So explain everything is very much one of our staples that we start the kids getting efficient in using.
Got it. Okay, so here we go. Let me start this again. All right, so here's the new one, V2I F3W. This should work. It's also in the bottom left here.
If you listen to me. I'm going to go that way. You choose to go in there after I've told you not to. You will not.
Oh, let's see. Grade 3. You're connected. So right now we're modeling the real-time collaboration. Cool. Hello. So one thing, one tip I'll give, especially knowing the behavior of drawing. So if you and I are kind of writing in the same area, probably some of the stuff we do might inadvertently get grouped together. So one of the options, oh, hello, Madeline. One of the options, if you pop open the draw tool, you can actually, at least during real-time collaboration, if it's becoming problematic, you can disable auto grouping. It just lets people write kind of independently and not worry about things overlapping. But it does require each user kind of turning that off. But if you were all collaboratively, say, annotating a document, let me pull up a photograph here that we can work with. You know, if we were all trying to make comments on this photograph, well, it might make sense for us to have the auto grouping on so that those annotations would stick. So it's just something I thought, you know, you as instructors and facilitators should be aware of, just to kind of construct the best experience for users participating in this kind of session. The other thing is, I'm going to jump over to slide 2, and I could be working on slide 2 while you all are currently on slide 1. And so people can be on different parts of the project, or you can be in different views. So I could be working down here in this corner while you all are still working kind of in the main area of the page. So it's really flexible as far as the types of collaborative or cooperative work that you want to put together.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
As the host, if I hit record, it's going to force everybody to the view that I'm seeing because I'm kind of like the director, but it will capture everybody's audio and kind of overlap them. So you could be remote like we are right now. Oh, thank you for the duck. And actually do a recording together, even across distance. Hey, Madeline, could you write in on the stage where you're connecting from? Let's see if she heard me. Some other options, I can change those who are connected to view only, even just temporarily, or I could do it by user. And that would just, you know, give the chance to, you know, set people up to be able to look and see what you're looking at, and then you can kind of release that control. Oh, somebody else is connecting too. Cool. So I'm gonna force view only, and now you all are probably only in the position where you can see what I'm doing. But when I switch to slide 2, you'll actually follow me as kind of the presenter. So you can have kind of a guided experience and then say, all right, everybody, let's get to work. And then I just switched it back to everyone can edit. Hey there. So by default, if you're not a registered user, it'll fill in just Mr. Explain. Let's see. Oh, it's Charlotte. Hey there, Charlotte.
Yes, I had to go out the iPad and download it on the iPhone and go back on the iPad. So I succeeded.
Very good. That's well done.
It's okay.
So I'm actually going to stop the collaboration now, but thank you for participating. And I actually made it so that you all get to keep a copy of this. So when I hit disconnect, the session ended, but you will all have the option to continue kind of working on your own independent copy of the project as you move forward. So that's where this kind of option as the host, you get to set that choice. Let's move over to the slide sorter here. So here's where I can quickly navigate across multiple slides. If I press and hold, I can reorder things. I can also duplicate slides, which can be helpful. If there's a recording on the slide, if I try to duplicate it, I'll get a choice to duplicate it with or without the recording. So those are just things that exist. And then something that's new in this version is the ability to kind of set your background color, you know, with basically an infinite palette, but then also to set up these zoomable patterns. So like a grid. Let me get the background to a better color. I can set the pattern color to black. So I can set up a grid or dots or this texture. And so now when I zoom around, it's got kind of a fixed background color. And you can change it for the whole project, or you can just change it for one particular slide. So when I go to slide 5, it has a different background setup. So that's something else that's possible here. I guess I can also, let's see what this does. Oh yeah, I can remove the recording from a slide from this menu as well. I guess that did it. Maybe it didn't. Well, I'll check on that. All right, let's move over here. So the record bar, that's hard to see. The record bar, I can record, and when I pop open the timeline, you'll see the bottom bar is for audio. The top bar is for showing just a quick, visual example of whatever action was taking place. By default, if I rewind and hit record, it's kind of like a destructive mode. It'll ask me about overwriting, and I'll say okay, and it wipes everything and just starts anew. So if you'd gotten everything set up but then wanted to redo it, you can hit rewind and hit record. That's the default setting. If I press and hold the record button, there's also something called mix mode, which will let you layer recordings on top of recordings. So I hit record again, you're going to start seeing the drawing appear, but I'm not writing right now. And I can add other stuff to it, and it'll layer both the audio and any additional video. Let me do one more layer. Change the color here. And let's do another shape. I'll do an arrow. So I'm going to draw this arrow while everything else is kind of happening behind the scenes. So you can keep going through it over and over and layer both, again, audio and video. That's the mix mode, which is not the default. The other thing people ask about is, if you've done recordings across multiple slides, if you press and hold the play button, you'll get this golden play, which will make it full screen and play consecutive slides from that slide forward. And so that's sometimes helpful for people. The timeline, there's a lot that can be done here. For example, if I press and hold on just a part, I can hit delete. So let's think about this. Here's the number 1, 2, 3. I can hit delete and just remove the instance where I drew the number 2. I can also do something called start selection. And then I have options. I can delete, which will just create an empty space, or delete and compact, and it'll smush them together. So now it's going to go 1, 3 very quickly. So these are kind of like fancier editing things, but it might be helpful. Or say I didn't want this dead space at the end. Press and hold, delete all clips from now on, and it'll just crop that end part. So there are little editing things that's possible to do just by using the timeline. And then pressing and holding on this red scrubber there to get those options. All right, so the last kind of section I want to talk about is our, I'll say okay there. No, call that PD2. It's something called Explain Everything Discover, where what we learned over the years was that while some people were able to use Drive or Box or Dropbox or other systems to manage content, some people just wanted a one-tap destination. So we created a thing where if I make a project, I know this is not exciting, it's just the numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. I can publish this, I'll give it a name, on something called Explain Everything Discover. And so instead of waiting for it to render on my device, it'll just be sent to the cloud, and it'll give me a link that I can post or share or add. Now, I set this one as public or unlisted, just like in YouTube, you have those same options. So the advantage of this is that instead of waiting, now this was a short video, so it won't take that long. Right now, the default is that it renders on the device and then saves it locally, which is still there. Or Discover lets you have a place in the cloud for that. And now I'm going to show you where my Discover is. And you'll see here's that 1, 2, 3, 4 project that I can quickly get a preview of. Oh, it's still compressing in the cloud. And then be able to watch it. The other thing that's on Discover is for people who've shared stuff publicly, you're able to not only kind of view it, so you have the way to view it, but then you can also download and remix it, again, if they've shared it as publicly. I'm going to pull one of the projects from that Explain Everything has shared. So I open Art Gallery. And so, you know, it's got some interesting parts to it. Like maybe I'm really interested in this graphic or setup. I'm going to hit Get. And it's going to take a copy of the editable project and save it to my device. And then I'll be able to work with it. So that's happening very quickly. So now that I know how to use the slide sorter, I can get rid of the things that maybe I'm not interested in. Let's see, like I don't want that closing slide and I don't want that opening slide. So I'm going to delete them, remove. And now, let's see. I also want to just get rid of all this recording here. And now I've got this nice project or this graphic that's already laid out with picture frames and stuff. And I might want to insert my own artwork or photography or images. So let me go to flow stream. Sorry, I'll get pictures of my kids. So like, be like that. Maybe I'll actually do like a rectangular cutout and delete that one. All right, that fits better. And then over here, I'm going to add one more picture. And so now, instead of me needing to go find my own art gallery picture, I can now tell a story of my family using the objects that were already there. Oops, I wasn't using that zoom. Let me rewind. And so I can use this template here to tell a story. And I didn't have to make this from scratch because somebody generously shared the template. So it's just another workflow option added to ones that have previously existed. All right, so it's 1:45, and we can start wrapping up here. Are there any things that you wanted to know more about that I didn't necessarily share, or things that you want to dive deeper into as far as other possibilities? Let me know what would be the most helpful for you, Charlotte and Jacinta, who are here.
I downloaded the Red Riding Hood project for the children to use.
Okay.
But then when I downloaded, I wasn't really sure what to do with it. But I guess what you've just shown now would help with that.
Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, it's so funny because that one was actually first set up because because we were testing out something with the Apple TV. So that's why I'll zoom out here. A lot of the objects have these placeholders here, because notice see how I'm not using, so I'm using the red box zoom. So if you were collaborating like this and I hit record and I made, okay, the police officer show or the hunter show up here. So you can move these characters around, but in the recording, it will look like this.
Yeah,
So,
I hadn't even zoomed out, so that's fantastic.
so I think, yeah, maybe zooming out will be good to see like all the stuff that's there. So yeah, I mean, this is set up like in like an old school like puppet theater type of thing. So like here, I'll show you I'll add the curtains opening now. So I'm making them withdraw. Again, like let's watch it in full screen, or sorry, in what the recorded version looks like. Now the curtains will just appear because I moved them in while we weren't recording. And then, so it was just intended to be a way to use the collaboration and the like non-recorded or the fixed zoom position and just have a bigger grab area for these objects by using these like wooden sticks. So hopefully that clears that up.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
It's possible to change the characters?
Yeah, let's see. I mean, yeah, so look, I just I grouped this, or I use the inspector. So notice there are actually two objects that are grouped. So one thing I can do, I'm going to ungroup them. I'll delete her, and I'll just grab something from the clip art.
Okay, that's fantastic. We are working about storytelling. It would be very useful. Thank you.
But just look what I'm doing, one more step. I'm going to regroup. Now I group the cow with that stick. So now I've got another little puppet that's with the cow. So it was just a matter of regrouping it so that now I can have the cow appear. And where's the cow? There he is. All right. Or she is. Anything else or questions that I can show? Oh, actually, I just thought of this now because I was looking at it. If you look on the right side here, you see those two locks. So this will allow you to kind of do two takes. So if it's difficult for you or your students to both draw or write and speak at the same time, you can do like one pass of the other. So you could I'm going to first record. I am talking, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to lock the audio and hit record again. And I'll be able to hear myself speaking. You can't hear me because of the way my iPad's connected. And now I'm able to add the video on top. Or I could do the reverse. I could first record video, lock the video, rewind, and now I'm not going to be writing. 1, 2, 3, 4 underlines. So I could split up the tasks of writing and speaking, and that might be helpful for some of your learners.
I guess, Rashan, my only question is about the new version of Explain Everything with the volume purchasing program. Will the SV not be available from next year?
The SV for purchase in the volume store, if you haven't purchased it already, the SV will, if you've already bought it, it's going to continue to be maintained and updated and get all the features and stuff. The things that are going to be in the store are just going to be Explain Everything. We're not going to call it classic, but it's going to have kind of the classic features. And then there's going to be which will come at a price. And then there's going to be the free trial version, which has the subscription. So I would say to figure out your best steps moving forward, probably to email the sales team at Explain Everything and figure out timing and pricing. Probably better talking to someone who's not me, who's not very good at those things.
Okay, thank you.
But yeah, I mean, we've been in this like transition for like a year and a half, as you know, we didn't want to like surprise everyone with the crazy update with Classic and break 90% of people's projects and all those kinds of things. So introducing these other versions, confusing in the near term, but it will all get straightened out soon. And again, if you email that address, you'll be best served.
I have noticed the newer projects are .explain, and I think the old ones are .xpl or something. They seem to work on both versions, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I mean, what happens is there's a conversion one way or the other. Like, so one thing I didn't show. So when you're using the drawing, there's this option to do a draw fill. So it'll close the drawing and then fill it in with the color. So instead of drawing like a perfect circle, all right, that was really not that nice, but I'll draw a slower one. Or, you can draw these imperfect shapes and it'll like close them for you. But in the classic version, if you imported this project, these will show up really kind of funny looking. So little things here and there. So I'm going to put my email address here for you and for anyone who wants to get in touch. I've written. And we can wrap up here. So I will say thank you for joining. Again, those who are watching it in real time, those who are participating live, and those who will be watching this after the fact. I appreciate your time in the morning, Monday morning for you, Jacinta, and late in the evening for you, Charlotte.
Yes, it's 11 p.m. now.
Oh my goodness. Well, you should go to bed. Jacinta, you should go to work.
Thank you.
And then I'm going to go start making dinner for the kids.
Lovely. Thank you. That was fantastic.
Thank you so much for participating.
And thank you for all the updated. It's fantastic. I'm going to use only one app now. It will be fantastic.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Ivo. Thanks to everyone else. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.